All righty, guys. What is up? Zach Ginn here. I'm with Deal Machine, dmzach.com, with the founder, David Lecko, and we are here to talk about one thing and one thing only: how to get wholesaling deals with Driving for Dollars using Deal Machine, any software, anything, just how you can go out here and find wholesaling real estate deals with the power of just looking for ugly houses. Guys, the point of this challenge is in 30 days, how to get your first deal, your 40th deal, whatever deal, just through the power of Driving for Dollars. So we got David here. David's he knows a thing or two about Driving for Dollars, and he's gonna talk with us today about how we can use Driving for Dollars to get some wholesaling deals, continue the grinding in this challenge, and do really well. I mean, already to this point, we've had a lot of people start this challenge, get their first wholesaling deal, get their second, third one, all from just finding ugly houses. So, David, what's up, man?
Hey, what's up, Zach? It's really good to be here in week 4.
Oh yeah, man, I'm excited. So we've had a lot of people get the first deal by doing this. Last year was insane. This year's already insane too. So I'm excited to talk about this. Excited to get into it and talk. So let's
For
break it all
sure.
down.
Well, yeah, as you guys know, it's a 30-day challenge, and this is grind week. So we've actually got some people who are actually posting in the Facebook group some of the results that they're getting. So Kenny Wright and Victor Avila, they're saying that they picked up a group of prospects, cold calling, skip tracing, and one below is from a government list on his way around the corner. And what are you talking about when he says proximity rules? Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so I've talked about this forever, but like in wholesaling real estate, I mean, as you've known with how kind of you started this, when you have a real estate deal, you find a good wholesaling deal. Usually there's deals around that area. They're like clustered together. It's kind of crazy. Like hot areas are just, they're pockets and they're always there. So whenever I get like a $30,000-$40,000 deal, let's say, I don't know, a probate mailer or whatever, or maybe a code violation, we cold call, text, I'll just drive around that area and I'll find like 3 or 4 ugly houses, and there's always going to be a deal around the corner. And so kind of how the proximity rule works with people: you're near really cool, awesome people, you tend to be better. Same thing with bad people, right? And the same thing happens with real estate deals. If you get one real estate wholesaling deal, like the really good one, around that area, there's going to be other really good ones too. And so that's kind of the proximity rule with that too. Wherever there's a good deal, go around there, go do it. The biggest thing that always makes our team like at least 6 figures a year is when our acquisitions people, I make them drive for dollars too. So they go in appointment A, they lock up a deal, and they have to go to appointment B. It's like a mile down the road or a mile away. They have to drive for dollars in between. And there's always wholesaling deals in between them that we would have never known. These are earned lists. Remember, you can't go buy a Driving for Dollars list. You can't, you got to earn it, right?
Right.
And this is why when you're going against your competition and things, you want to become successful, you have to go after the list that no one else can, and you're good to go. I mean, the worst thing possible when you're calling a list and they're like, oh, you're the 10th person to call me. It's like, yeah, everyone pulls a high equity list and they try to no, that's not how it works. Earn the list and you'll do well.
Right. I like how you call it an earned list, and the deals really are better there because you're competing with less people. And I wanted to call out, Victor added 213 leads, which is a really, really great start. Typically in the Midwest, I would say adding like 500 rundown properties and communicating with them at least 3 times each is a good recipe for success. So Victor's well on his way there. And it looks like he's got 312 total. So just congrats to you, Kenny and Victor. Thanks for sharing.
Awesome. I love to see it. I always tell you, just 100 a week. That's all you need. 100 a week, you'll get a deal.
Yeah, I think that's good because if you have too big of a goal, it can seem too daunting, right? So 100 a week is easily doable in a few hours.
It's what, 15, 18 a day. It's not difficult.
Right.
You're all going to the gym, just quick 15 here and there. I'm telling you, you'll do great.
Well, if you guys are just joining this for the very first time, I did want to say, even though it's week 4 of the 30-day challenge, it's not too late. So you can join us and catch up. So this challenge has already transformed lives in a positive way. And Mark wanted to say, thank you for the memory that will last a lifetime. And if it wasn't for this challenge, I don't think I would ever get on the horse and take action. And that was from Jared, went through this challenge in April. So just wanted to share how impactful this can be. Even if this is your first time joining this, you can still join us in this challenge. This challenge has helped me understand that anything is possible as long as you can take small, consistent actions daily. And that's exactly what Zach was talking about. Instead of setting that goal of needing to find 500 rundown properties, setting yourself up to find 18 per day is way more impactful in the long run than trying to cram it all in and then getting overwhelmed.
That's how you got to do it. You know, how do you eat an elephant?
One bite at a time.
One bite at a time, right? So getting that first deal, making 100K in a year, anything like it seems daunting. But if you just show, hey, I got to do this, and this, you're good to go.
Yeah. So if you're watching this and you haven't been in the challenge, you can register here for the replays and giveaways and more. drivewithzach.com.
That's
Leave
it.
that up for just a second. You guys
we got some freebies to give away, some awesome stuff. Just go there so you don't miss it. Everyone asked, how do I get the free stuff? Just go there. I mean, we've given away a lot already, so I got some more on there too. So
right, but we do have some more on the way even today.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So stay tuned. So all right, so like I said, you guys kind of know that Deal Machine is this tool that helps you find these rundown properties. I started it back in 2016. I was working for this small company, I was working 80 hours a week. I was learning a lot, but I kind of was done working so much. And one thing I noticed was the owner of this company, he didn't work nearly as much as I did. And I was like, well, why do you invest in rental properties? And he's like, well, I buy these rentals because if you buy them right, you can actually cash flow them and they'll always go up instead of the stock market. So that's why I started looking for real estate deals. I didn't even know about how powerful wholesaling was yet. But one thing I knew is I looked on the market. I couldn't find any properties that would cash flow. It's like, how'd this guy get these properties that cash flow? And why doesn't he work so much? And so I was like determined to find out how he did that. I went to a real estate meetup. And of course, I found a ton of people who were actually looking and doing real estate deals. A lot of them were wholesaling. And they said, I can't look on the market. I need to look off market. And I need to go look for houses that look run down and get in touch with them. And so I did that. I was actually working on finding those properties. I had written them down on a piece of paper. I had about 40 over 2 months time. So I was going slow. And I wish I only had this 30-day challenge back then. I would have had a result a lot faster than 7 months. But, I did get my first deal eventually. My stomach dropped when I saw this house that was getting worked on. And I didn't even have that letter sent to them, right? I knew that house was on my list. I saw them a couple months later. It was getting worked on. So I looked up and sure enough, somebody else had just bought the house and they offered and sold it for lower than what I would have probably offered on it. So I knew it could have been an amazing first deal for me and I just missed out on it. So I come to realize later, just human beings have, a big follow-up issue. And I created this widget. I had a little bit of basic skills for app development. And I made this just widget on my phone for myself so I could pin the house and it would automatically look up who owned it from the county records and then send mail to the owner. And so that's ultimately what became Deal Machine. I didn't mean to start a business, but I was working on doing this business myself, finding off-market deals. Some people at my meetup wanted to use the app, so I had to name it something. And at the job I was at, every time I would close a deal at that software company I was at, they would call me a Deal Machine. I was like, oh, that sounds pretty cool. So I called the app Deal Machine, and then it just kind of organically grew from there. So ever since then, we've helped people close 10,000 deals in all 50 states. We've been around for 7 years. And one of our top success stories is Ryan Haywood. I used to think you couldn't do this in a small town, but St. Joseph, Missouri is only 70,000 people. And he took a challenge just like this, actually, in 2019. He made $8,500 in 14 days, and he's gone on to do 400 deals. And I actually started hosting a podcast with him this year because he's had so much success. And we help W-2 earners, break down how they can quit their job and start a business. So that's Ryan Haywood. He went through a challenge just like this to start out. So we have one more week left, as we said. And if you're just joining, it's not too late. drivewithzach.com is how you can register for this challenge. And you can still make a big impact in your life. We're going to have one more live training, by the way. It's next Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern time. And we're here to give you the playbook, help you overcome challenges, assign homework. And we're going to review that in a second and hold you accountable. So we've got $3,000 in free giveaways. So we've already given away some already. Zach, we gave away 2 already, right? So we're going to do a third one today, I think.
Your third one today.
Yeah. So you just must complete the homework to qualify. And you also have to be on the live stream. So your homework due today was to build a list of 300 driving for dollars leads and reach out to 200 leads in at least one way. You could call them, You could reverse drive for dollars, which means that you have the app guide you through where they all are. And then you could send them a text, or you could send them a postcard, etc. So what do you think the most popular way of reaching out is, Zach, for the group that we're with today?
I mean, David, you already know it's reverse drawing for dollars, hands down. I remember I told you about it. Like two years ago? You're like, what in the world is this? I'm like, just wait. The guy that thinks he knows everything about drawing for dollars, I'm gonna add another one on here. Just guys, putting a sticky note on the ugly house, it beats everything. And you can cover your ears, David, but like the best way to get a deal in drawing for dollars before I did this was just putting a postcard out, right? Go to Deal Machine, put the postcard out, right? It's a piece of mail and it gets you deals, right? Like it's easy. There's no calling. It's inbound. It's great. But the big con of direct mail, as you know, is it's a little expensive. I mean,
Right.
we're pushing 40, 50. I mean, the postage just went up again. It's like 65 cents for a letter, right?
Right.
You do like 300 of those. It ain't cheap, right? And just so I learned just putting yellow sticky notes out. It gets probably a 10 times better response than a postcard. Postcards at best 1 to 2%. We're pushing about 25, 30% response rates on these. And just a sticky note. Hey, this is Zach. Got a quick question about your house. Please give me a call. And people think it's a neighbor. They always call. And so when you look at two wholesalers and they're both using Deal Machine, right? And they both see the same house, they'll go out here, they'll put on the app, they'll call them, and they'll get about a 30% response rate, right? It's not bad for a contact rate. I put a sticky note out, I get a 25% response rate. Then I recall that list, get a 30%. I'm roughly getting about a 45, 50% response rate, which means if I'm doing reverse trying for dollars and cold calling together, I'm getting in front of double the amount of people. So I'm getting the double amount of hellos with the same list. So when we're talking about working harder versus, working smarter, you don't, you could do 500 drawing for dollars leads or 1,000. If you just do sticky notes, you don't have to do 1,000, just do 500, get the same results. And so hands down, that's going to be the best one for everyone.
Amazing. So you bring a pen and a sticky note tablet and do the reverse D for D method for the lowest cost and most effective.
That's it. People don't like cold calling. They cry about it all the time. They don't want to pay for skip trace. It's it.
Right. Dude, I'm so glad you're here to give us these innovations. It just makes so much sense, but I haven't heard anyone else talk about it like that.
It's not, it's so stupid simple, but it works. And
we overcomplicate things as humans. We just overcomplicate things so often. I find myself doing that all the time.
That's it. And, it all came from a frustration trying to deal with people. I see these ugly houses and no one answers the dang phone. Like I knock on the door, no one's there. And I legally can't put something in the mailbox. So I didn't want to get in jail.
Yeah.
And so I just put a sticky note on the door. That's it. I learned it because people, or my lawn person at my house used to put that there. They put a note and they'll put a rock on it and put it on
or the
floor.
invoice for something.
Yeah, no, they'll just take for marketing. They'll just put a note and so it didn't get blown over. They put a rock over it. I'm like, I just put a sticky note.
Yeah.
It was in my car.
Genius.
It works, guys.
Genius. Plus a sticky note tablet's like $5.
Oh, it's $1 for 500.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Well, for those of you who've completed the homework and submitted it in the Facebook group, we've got a big winner who's going to win $800 prize. And we got a drumming roll. And this person has to be on the live stream. So Kenny Wright, you are the winner. I'm wondering, is there a way we can verify if Kenny Wright is actually on the live stream right now?
Yeah, he's right here. You
got him? All right.
He's in the webinar.
Amazing. Congrats to you, Kenny. So we'll be reaching out so you can claim that $800 prize, which is going to be a year's worth of the Deal Machine subscription plan that you're on. So congratulations to you. And if you guys want to win, we've got one more homework assignment that you can complete this week to be eligible to win that prize at the next training, which is going to be next Friday at 1 Eastern time. So, okay, it's time for today's live training. It's week 4. We're going to deep dive with me, Deal Machine's founder and CEO. And I kind of told you my story before, right? Where I worked for this guy. I was working so hard. He wasn't working that hard. I was like, how'd you get those real estate deals? And I went out and I found out to get great deals, you have to go off market and you have to get that earned list. And then I wish I knew about reverse driving for dollars at the time. What I was doing was I was adding properties and sending mail But I was not following through with the mailing process because that took extra time once I got home to like put that mail together. It's another thing I love about the reverse driving for dollars process, Zach, is that you do it right when you see it. Then we don't have to worry about follow up, right? You don't have to worry about that issue we have as humans of just following up. So anyway, at the time, there was no app to help with this process that I was being told to do. And I had some basic software skills. So I made a very basic app and it became Deal Machine, and have been thankfully using it myself for the past 7 years. And some other people wanted to use it too. So it became its own business. And so I wanted to tell you guys, through the 7 years helping people close 10,000 deals, what are some tips along with Zach for driving for dollars, building your list of motivated sellers. And I'm going to show you this in action. So, Zach, do you think that everybody in this group has been driving? Yeah, they definitely been driving. If they're doing reverse D4D, they're in person, right? Driving around.
Oh
On this
yeah.
demo, that there's a virtual way to do this, right? So I wanted to show you guys if for some reason you can't like get out during the sunshine and it's only nighttime when you have free time, like this could be a good option. Are there
Virtual.
really any other times you'd recommend doing the virtual driving option?
The virtual is really honestly going to be if you're just out of the country, out of a bad market, New York City, LA, heck, Miami sometimes, right? If you're in a market that isn't working too well, I would definitely look into virtual driving for dollars. And I've been talking to more and more people doing deals from this. They're hiring like VAs to do it too. It's as long as the Google Street is within 2022, 2021 or like sooner,
Right.
it's good to go. There's some markets where it's just too old. 2016, 27, we just can't do it.
Right.
Um,
Like, look at this. Actually, it says photo taken May 2020, 14. So I think I'm
yeah,
actually going to find a different street, but this is how you can tell. Can you see that?
yeah, right there.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. So it tells you when the photo was taken. So as Zach said, you want to do this in areas, if you're going to do it from overseas, that have recent photos. So a lot of big cities do. A lot of big cities, Google updates it every year, is what I've noticed. But I would definitely add this house right here. And I want to use this as an example before I go find a more updated street, is because it just looks like these windows are like really old. This house to me doesn't look as good as, some of the other ones in the neighborhood. But it overall, I would just add it and move on. So let's see if there's any others that we could point out. Some good examples would be good to add as a driving for dollars lead. So here's like my number one tip for driving for dollars is everybody, they get a little bit misled from like they're like used to hearing, you could pull an absentee owner list. So when they're driving for dollars, sometimes they won't add absentee owned properties. But I've noticed if the house is run down, that that owner who lives there, like they may need to sell their house too. So when you're driving for dollars, I would not hesitate to add the owner occupied house. More of my deals have actually been done from owner occupied D for Ds than the absentee owners in my personal case. So we went down the street here. Actually, it's more updated now. It says 2019, so it's still not brand new, but that was interesting how we went just a couple blocks and the photo is more up to date. Right, right, right. Yeah, yeah, and I wouldn't even know what the area is, but I definitely give you like an address of some of my rental properties where I do like that area. So that's a really good tip, man. You don't have to worry about dispositions if you start by calling people who have their properties for rent, see where they want to buy. Right. Yeah, so this I could tell was actually the photos were taken in 2023. So this is actually a better area of town where you'd be able to use this virtual strategy. And the reason why I'm using it today is because I thought it was easier than driving my car and live streaming at the same time. Yep. Right. Yeah, so this house looks kind of ugly. They got a washing machine in the front yard, so I would add this one. I'll just show you how to add it, and then I would move on and keep finding more properties. And if I'm there in person, I'd put that sticky note right on there. Now, if they're actually there, would you still put the sticky note, or would you ring the doorbell and try to talk to them? Got it. Yeah, yeah. Okay. Well, cool. What other tips do you think we should leave them with driving for dollars? You're really looking for tall grass, rundown properties. You said it's easy, right? Another sleeper is a handicap ramp that looks like it's like kind of been weathered, because that's
Yeah.
probably somebody who may need to be moving out, soon into assisted living facility. And if their house is run down, that time may come sooner than later. So I would definitely add those handicap ramps that look weathered, and also like those window AC unit properties where most updated properties have the central AC.
Window AC. I mean, grass is still going to be my favorite one. Anything that looks out in the ordinary. I would honestly say probably what I would say where I live is a lot of mold in the southeast. So if I find mold anywhere and you're not taking care of it, that's a great one too.
Oh, like growth on the side of the house?
Oh yeah, that's a Florida, Georgia, Louisiana thing, even
Gotcha.
Tennessee, North Carolina.
Yeah.
That's a good one too. People like boarding up their windows. They leave their shutters on when they leave.
Okay.
Snowbirds like that. Another big one too is kind of the proximity thing with reverse trying for dollars, because you can do this inside a deal machine, which is really cool. I don't know when you added this feature. I think I forced Matt to do it. But like I'll go get the pre foreclosures, right? It'll be like 50 for the month. I can import it inside of dmzac.com, and it will give me a route, and I can just drive the pre foreclosure route. And then in between those houses, I look for the other ugly houses too on the route there.
Yeah.
And so that's another great one too. And you'll find ugly houses there.
Yeah. Well, here's how you would do that. So I went and got the code enforcement list, which I know you teach people to do as well. So I've pulled it up here. I would click on the properties that are on this list, and then you could actually click the reverse driving for dollars for a list like this. You say drive this list, and then in your mobile app, when you pull open your mobile app, it will guide you with GPS directions from house to house. So that's how you do that, folks.
Oh yeah, it's insane because nobody's doing it. Nobody.
Right.
Like
Right.
outside of this YouTube channel, there's not one person that's teaching how to get a government type list, drive it, even go after it, and no one teaching reverse trying for dollars. So if you're watching it, you got a great advantage.
For sure.
The average
Huge
competition
advantage.
ain't watching this YouTube channel, so it's perfect.
Right. So now we've given you some D for D tips. Hope you guys wrote those down. Now we're actually going to give you tips for marketing to your list of motivated sellers. And the only tip you really need is actually get a sticky note and a pen and actually write, hey, I have a question about your house. Call me, Zach, right? Is that what you'd put on the sticky note?
Yeah, I mean, I try to get the best response rate possible. So I just say, hey, I have a quick question. I like a neighbor. It's just most people when they get that, they're like, who is this? I better call it.
Right.
That's it. People get
It's
people.
genius.
Human beings are really curious. If you look at psychology, if you put that there and you put like a name, one big tip I've always found, and it's not a dirty trick, but it works really well. If you want to go from a 30% response rate to a 40% response rate, put a female name on it. I know it's weird to say, but people are like, who is, first of all, if it's a husband and wife, the wife's going to see like, who's Sheila? Why does she put a note here? And then she's going to call that, right? Just for people are curious. If it's a guy, it's like, is this my, long lost ex lover type thing? And then they'll go try to call that, right? It goes from like 30 to 40% response rates. Texting, I did that too. I have some female acquisitions agents, and we just use their names instead of mine.
Okay.
Always increase response rate. Some females are more comfortable talking to another woman too, so like that helps too. But like
Right.
just the little tiny things like that, it just increases I'm a big stat guy, and if you can go from a 30% response rate to a 40% response rate, you get 10% more leads, 10% more deals, 10% more money.
Interesting. So Sheila, that's your female name of choice.
I'm just it's an example, right? We usually use like Megan because we got a Megan on the staff.
That makes a lot
So
of
it's like
sense.
not lying, but like
Yep.
doesn't work. But if you have really bad handwriting, it doesn't work sometimes with me. So I just use Zach when I go out. I got somebody that has better
Oh yeah,
handwriting. I use that one.
I got you. So here's two other ways I just wanted to show you guys that you could reach out. Is you could do a skip trace, which I hit with this button in the app, skip trace, and then the phone number will appear here. So you could actually call or text this person. If you're in the mobile app, the buttons will actually be there to start a call or to start a text message. The other thing you can do, if you're not going to do a sticky note or if you run out of sticky notes, is you could actually send mail to this person. And so the postcard is actually going to say, there's probably 20 templates in Deal Machine. Like here's the basic one. Hey, is this your property? I'm interested in purchasing it and I'll take it in any condition. I can close quickly and with cash. And if you're interested, please call or text me. Have a great day. If you got a website, you can put it on there. Like I have my email address. And also it will repeat the mail every 21 days. What I like to do 6 times total. So by default, it's on there. And if you wanted to change that, you could change how many times, what the template looks like. We have some giant ones, 6x11. Those are huge. But you could also change, how frequently it gets sent out. But I always go with 21 days, 6 times total. And those are really my tips for marketing. Obviously, you want to do the sticky note first. And if you want to do something else, you could call or text with the skip trace or send mail. I wouldn't really overthink what's on the postcard beyond that, because the whole point is just to start a conversation, get them to call you back.
It works.
The one thing I will say is over the years, I've gotten more spam calls. And so because of that, I am not sure if my phone's ringing from a spam call or from the callbacks for my postcard. So I always would set up like a free Google Voice number. So that way, at least I could look at the call log and say, oh, these definitely came from my marketing campaign. And I can still forward it so it rings my cell phone. That's just a tip so you can track what is this call? Is it spam or is it actually from my marketing?
Oh yeah. Google Voice. That's put the sticky note phone number there just so I can track it, know who's calling. Call recording is always important on there too. Yeah, I love doing that. I use CallRail just because we have all these numbers in direct mail and everything like that, just so I can track it a little better.
I do too. Yeah, there's a little extra expense, but it is nicer, the way it's set up to be tracking the marketing like that.
Yeah, I mean, for the people scaling it out, when you got like 5 different zip code, 5 different area codes, you just got to see what's working, what's not. That's what I do, but just a Google Voice is fine.
So when I used to get a call back, I would always feel hesitant to answer my phone, which is so stupid because I spent money and time to get them to call my phone. Like, why am I not answering this so enthusiastically? It was because I wasn't sure where I would take the conversation if I didn't know how much I could pay for this house. Even though I wasn't going to tell them right away, like knowing myself, the ballpark gave me confidence to continue the conversation. So what might be helpful is the comping tool. And it's right inside of Deal Machine as well. That helps you know, like if you're making a good offer or not. So obviously I could tell they bought it for this price in 2021. So 2 years ago, and you can actually change the settings. So comparable sales help you determine what the value of a property is. This is looking by default 6 months back, and it's actually a 1,300 square foot house. So it's going to look and include houses that sold recently in this range. And you can all in a 1 mile radius, by the way, and it'll give me MLS transactions, which means they sold retail, and also county records transactions, which are, off market deals would just show on the county. So I want to know is like what's the after repair value of like a perfect house. So I'll just filter out the county records. I'll look at the estimated value. I don't just look at this for face value though. So what I really need to do though is examine what are these houses that it's comparing it to. Like there's quite a bit of difference. And I can tell by this photo, this $79,000 property, it wasn't in perfect condition when they sold it. So if I'm trying to calculate the perfect condition it does actually look like it was fixed up. My mistake. Yeah, I can look at the MLS photos. I feel like $79,000 for this thing is a pretty good deal. But I can look, here's the back and here's what it used to look like. Okay. So I will go ahead and make sure these properties are like in perfect condition. And if they are not, if I don't think that they should be included, I can just click once and it will remove them from the calculation. So I would just quickly go through these properties, eyeball them and see if they are truly comparable. And I can add or subtract them from the calculation. And that gives me some more confidence about what this is worth in perfect condition. And I can kind of estimate what the repairs would be. Well, how do you normally do that, Zach?
I'm pretty, the one thing I'm known for is getting big wholesaling deals.
Okay.
And the way that I get big wholesaling deals is I always put myself a shot clock. I give myself 2 or 3 minutes to comp at most. The point is you have to lowball. And you just have to understand when you're talking to a seller, you are going to have to get a general range of what it's worth. 2 minutes, that's all you really need. Like just go crazy, like fast, and just focus on the seller. If you focus more on the seller and their issue than the actual comps and everything perfect, and you lowball like crazy, you're fine. And so generally when I look at a house, if I'm like, okay, a cash buyer will buy this thing for like 70 or 80, we're offering 35, 40 off the bat. We're just offering it. And I can have a conversation with any seller. And if I can get a price out of them first, I can really negotiate from there and just get the lowest they'll even accept. If you knew with a motivated seller that house is worth 70, let's say 70,000 to a cash buyer, and you offered 30 and they counter at 55, you know you can get them down even more. Oh, can you do 40? Oh, 50? Okay. And they're stuck at 50 and you know you're going to make 20. You're not going to like leave the deal. Roughly it's going to be there and it's already done. So make 20 grand. We always go for an LAO, not an MAO. And I think that's the problem people have. A lot of people watching this, they'll spend
explain the difference.
Yeah. So MAO, most people know, is your max allowable offer, 70 grand, let's say, on that deal. Most people focus on that 70. And so at 65, 60 is what they'll offer. And then they'll make a little 5, 10K. And that's okay. It's not bad. But if you watch this channel, you guys see me do checks and see the people that do well with this, they know to make 40 grand on a deal and to make 5 grand on a deal is the same amount of work. You're just saying different numbers. And so what your LAO should be is your least allowable offer. You have to focus on what offer can I give that's so low, but it's high enough where I don't get kicked out of the house. You want to do that. And if you do that, you will make an extra 30% this year, just with more assignment fees. So how do you make more money? Either you do more deals or you make more margin per deal. And to do both would be better. And so if I double my assignment fees and double the amount of deals, I actually quadruple the amount of money I make, not double it. And so that's another big thing for most people. But I do my LAO. So it's about 70% of the MAO. And so if I figure out a property is worth 100, I have to offer at minimum 70K. If I offer anything above 70K, I'm leaving money on the table.
How would you figure out if the house is worth 100?
You comp it, right? I mean, you do some rough comps on there, right? But like you look around the area, sold prices, 3 2s, 2 1s, go from there. I mean, same thing that you're doing there. Just, I know it's easy for you and easy for me to like comp a property pretty quick, but for an average beginner, they'll spend 45 minutes to an hour trying to get everything perfect.
Right.
No, you get a rough range because you're not perfect with it. A cash buyer's not perfect with it. Even if I try to sell the deal, the cash buyer has the price that they want to buy it for, and you're not going to go convince them. And so, yeah, I always focus on a low ball. It always makes more money.
Thanks for teaching us about the lowest allowable offer. I'm definitely going to be using that on some future offers I'm making this week.
Got to do it. And
I got a deal done yesterday, and I got one coming up Monday.
I'm telling you, people think that's crazy. I'll go live on Zillow, and I'll just lowball people all day. I had one deal, it was listed for 300. I just offered 150, and she said, "Can you do 170?" I said, "Sure."
You never know what people will take until you get an offer in front of them. Are you offering that via text, or how are you doing that?
Live. On phone.
Like on the phone.
Channel.
Yeah.
On the channel. We just offer it live.
Mm-hmm.
You never know. And for most people, it's scary to offer that, but it's really not. You just do it.
You never know.
Yeah, there's like 3 or 4 lowball like methods we teach in wholesaling.com. I mean, it's just, you just got to know how to lowball and you'll be fine.
Well, let's transition over to Q&A because we've given the 3 basic things we wanted to train you guys on today. First of all, if you haven't started and you want to join this challenge in the grind week, I would definitely encourage you, because we've got one more prize to win next Friday if you complete your homework. So we also taught you about the tips for driving for dollars, marketing to your list using the reverse D for D method, and then how to figure out if you have a deal. So we're going to open it up to Q&A right now, I think, right? You guys have an ability to see those questions? I'm not sure I see it.
Yeah, I'll pull them up and we'll see the questions for everyone. But the point y'all need to understand today, it is another grind week, which basically means you show up and you do the work. You can cry about it, but the work needs to be done. I bring a lot of people on that want to talk to me, and they all want to cry to me that, oh, I'm trying for dollars, but I'm getting no deals. I'm doing this, and I'm like, did you do your 100? And they're like, I did 70. It's right. I always say actions equal results, and it's the truest form in wholesaling. If you want to get your first deal in a month, your action has to equal that result you want. You can't manifest it. You can't do 10 drawing for dollars leads in a month and want a deal. You can't barely cold call and get a deal. You have to put in the work. But the results always discriminate. If you want to get rich, but you don't want to work hard, it ain't gonna happen. It's never gonna happen. You always have to do work. So for most people watching this, for most people that ever talk to me that always struggle to get wholesaling deals, and they always want to do this, and that, I'm like, show me the work you've done, and I can tell you exactly how much money you made, pretty much to a point. Same thing, you're talking about health and stuff, right? Like if I ask a guy how much they work out and how much food they eat, and I kind of can look at them, I can tell exactly how strong they are to a point. Like if you don't work out, you're not going to be strong, right? And if you do work out a lot, you probably are strong. I can't find one person that is rich in wholesaling that doesn't work. They all put in work. They have employees in their company that do it. And so for anybody watching this, you just got to focus on the 100. There's no crying. There's no excuses. I'm not going to go give you sympathy. I'm never that type of person. Oh, I only did 60 this week. Okay, well, then you're not going to get your first deal. Deal with, accept the result, though. There's no excuses. You get rich or you don't. That's the point. And so let's answer some questions. I'm just no nonsense with this type of stuff, because you either get the results or you don't. You had Ryan there. He put in the work. That's the only reason he did well. He didn't get lucky. He did the work. And every lead you put in gets you closer to that result. So let's answer some questions here. Let me see. Let's go on the webinar first. Stan says, where do I find cash buyers if I have a list? My biggest hindrance with trying to get a deal under contract is not knowing where to find buyers. Well, Stan, this is always an easy question. Cash buyers only come from two ways. They either buy the house to rent it out, like David, or they buy the house to flip it. That's pretty much it. 99% of cash buyers in wholesaling, that's what they want to do. And so one way, if I want to find a lot of Davids out here, is I asked you this question last year, but David, when you were buying your first couple rental properties, did you list them on the MLS or did you list them by yourself?
I listed them on Zillow. Yeah, by myself.
Zillow. And you put your phone number on there, right?
I did. It was my personal cell.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Zillow, Indianapolis, most recent rentals. I'm going to find the people that actually have their personal cell, call them up, just say, hey, David, I'm actually not looking to rent out your property. I'm actually a wholesale in the area, and I get properties under contract all the time that are great cash flows. Are you looking to buy any more? And you either say yes or no.
Yep.
Cash buyer. They're all on Zillow. They're right there. So you want to find cash buyers, do that. The flippers, for example, you probably bought those houses for cash. If I go at any software and just pull the cash sales, your company's going to pop up on there, and then I can go from there. So those are the best way to find cash buyers. What have you seen?
Both of those things are accurate. Yep. The only other one I'd also add was that meetup that I went to when I told you I was first starting out had people that were cash buyers there looking for rental properties.
Those are good too. Facebook groups are amazing. The one warning I will tell you is there's a lot of wholesaling gurus out here that have courses now that teach you how to JV people's deals. And a lot of them are pretending to be cash buyers, and they're not cash buyers. They're trying to be a cash buyer, lock the property up, and then JV it with someone else, which is not a bad thing, but they don't disclose it. So all you have to do is just ask them the last 4 houses they bought for cash. And if their name is not signed on the deed, they're not a cash buyer. Mm-hmm. It's like when you buy your houses for cash, you sign it. You sign the deed yourself, or you have someone in the company sign it.
Yeah, that transaction is recorded on the county. Yep.
You can't fake it. That's legit fraud. You'd go to jail, right? And so if I say I'm a cash buyer and I show you a house that David signed the deed for, you're not a cash buyer. And so that's the only way I've found to show if you're a legit buyer or not. And David, if I asked you if you were looking to buy it, can you name the last 3 houses you bought for cash? You're not going to get super offended and be like, how dare you? That's personal. No, you're going to give it to me because you're legit.
Right.
And so just ask your buyers that. If they don't, they're not legit. I've seen so many wholesalers get ripped off from fake buyers and things like that. So that's how you do it.
Nope, that's great.
Let's see here. Let's see on the bottom here. Yeah, that's how you find it. Let's see here. Yeah, shout out to Kenny there. Kenny's excited. Guys, if you want to win next week, the next thing, post on Wholesaling Houses for Real, and then just go to drivewithzach.com. That is it. Simple as that, guys. There's 114,000 people in Wholesaling Houses for Real. You can JV with all the people in the world there. You can connect with all these people. It's a huge group. You got to join it. You got to get inside where the legit wholesalers are. You got to be part of that group. You got to post in that group, and you'll do well on here. So let's see. If I have a picture of the property, can I skip trace? If I have a picture of a property, can I skip trace those in the app? If you add in the app, then sure, yeah.
Yep.
And then one other thing I do want to add, which Deal Machine did this. They've been doing this for a while, but I've been doing really well. That works really well. Is you can actually add drivers. And so for everybody watching this, if you're in a market right now and you have like 4 or 5 new wholesalers you've met, add them as a driver on your app and then just split the deals. That's something I've always had. I've always found young kids that want to do deals. I've had friends that want to get into wholesaling, but they don't want to. I'm like, all right, here's the app. Here's the login. Go put 100 properties on here that are ugly. If you have 5 of them doing 100 a week, that's 500. You'll get a deal this week doing that. And so if you join Wholesaling Houses for Real, find 5 wholesalers in your area, add them on Deal Machine and as a driver, and you can just increase the amount of leads you're doing. That's another really good tip I've always found too, is just you got to increase your marketing. It's always going to get landed some deals. So let's look here what we got. Let's see. Let's see here. What method of buyers? I already talked about that. New people buying. Yeah, you can do that too. You can buy a stamper. Those are on Amazon too. Just stamp the sticky notes if you want to put like a ton out there. I've seen that too. Shout out to Eddie here. Got my first deal today. What's up, Eddie?
Hey, congrats,
awesome.
Eddie.
Awesome. Love to see that. I mean, with the amount of people we have in freewholesaling.com, it's every day people are getting deals. All usually from cold calling. A lot from texting, trying for dollars. Tavion says, is it okay to call on the weekends? Yes. Whatever time you can, just call on the weekends. That's always going to be your best time for it. Let's see here. How do you get the replays? It should be on there if you want. Let's see here. Is there an updated virtual wholesaling list? You got to earn it, right? So let's see here. Congrats, Kenny. Let's see. Yeah. So to submit the homework, guys, you got to go in Wholesaling Houses for Real. That's how you do it on there. So let's see here. Got a lot of good markets. Dave, from what you've seen with the data, I've always found with our people, it's about 400 to 500 driving for dollars leads to get a deal. Has that changed with you guys at all?
No, that's exactly what I would say. Yep. 400 to 500 driving for dollars leads to get a deal.
It's crazy because I think I was talking to you before, like the wholesaling, the amount of wholesalers doing driving for dollars and things. And you can see Deal Machine has more people last year than it did. It had more people this year than it was last year. There's more people driving for dollars, but still, it's still 400 to get a deal.
Right.
And so that's just showing the power of, yeah, there's a ton of more saturation going on, but most people don't want to work hard to drive for dollars and get a deal, which means, yeah, wholesaling might be harder than it was last year, but you still got to do the same work to get a deal. It's not harder. It's not more work to do a deal. Now, if we were to pull a high equity list and cold call it, oh yeah, that's going to be way harder than it was. But with driving for dollars, it's not. And so that's when I get people that, I'm not calling them lazy, but like how do I get a deal in the quickest amount of time without working as hard? Driving for dollars. I've always said that. And most people aren't willing to take that extra step to get a deal here. Facebook user says, are foreclosures a good property to start with? Pre-foreclosures are great if you reverse drive for dollars them. They're good for texting too. One extra thing I always tell people is I kind of stole this from Deal Machine too. But one thing you guys always did really well was, remember when you used to be able to take a picture of the property and then you sent that via postcard?
Yeah.
So like, I remember when the Google Maps postcards came out, that worked really well, but this was like a step up because it was more personalized and it wasn't like general. What I did from there is I kind of stole that idea and I used it for texting. And so when people were drawing for dollars, reverse drawing for dollars, they see that ugly house. What they would do is they send a picture of that, right? And not send a mail out because mail is expensive. I had them text that picture, say, is everything okay at the house? Crazy response rates. And so if you're watching this, you got to do that too. It's the little things to get the more responses that'll get deals. And so if you're reverse trying for dollars, take a picture of the house, get their phone number, text them. Is everything okay at the house?
If I get that text, I'm definitely responding. What's going on?
If you get a text at your front door, you're going to be like, what's going on? And if you have an ugly house, it's going to be like, uh-oh, right?
Right.
Yeah, you're going to be freaked out and you're going to call. That's the point. It's all about marketing here. And your average wholesaler ain't going to do it. And that's always going to lead you to better results.
Did you have any more questions, or should we talk about the grand prize giveaway?
Let's talk about it.
All right, cool. So there's one more chance to actually win the grand prize giveaway. Skipped over the slide. There you go. Which is $1,500, right? So it's the pro plan of Deal Machine for an entire year. And so we're going to be giving that away next Friday at 1 p.m. if you complete your homework by next Friday. And your homework is to add another 100 driving for dollars leads to your driving for dollars list, which would bring you to 400 total. And also reach out to at least 300 leads. That could be reverse D for D. It could be, calling, texting, postcard, etc. So if you complete that and you make at least one offer to a seller this week, post that in the Facebook group, then you'll be eligible to win the grand prize, which we'll be giving away at 1 p.m. Eastern time next Friday. And again, to qualify for that prize, you need to post proof of your list of 400 leads in the Wholesaling Houses for Real Facebook group and include an update on how your conversations with sellers are going and show up next week's to the final live training. So you've got this. I know it works. I've seen it 10 billion times over the last 7 years. You guys just have to put in the work, just like Zach was saying. If you have a goal of 100 and you only do 60, well, you're not going to get the goal. You've got to hit the actual goal, which is 400 total properties, 100 more that we're adding this week.
That's it. I mean, it's easy to go to the gym every day for a week, but it's hard to go to the gym every day for a year, right? And that's what it is. It's doing this is actually easy during the day. Like, just to do it for the day is easy. Do it for a week's easy. But the reason why we're doing this for a month is that's a lot more difficult to do. And you don't see the results instantly, but over a couple of weeks, you're going to see the leads flow in. And that is the point. It's not sexy. It's not going to deal in 5 seconds, but it ends up making you a ton of money.
So we do have 2 special bonuses, which you get by going to dmzach.com. And you're going to be able to start a 7-day free trial of Deal Machine if you're just joining us for this. And you'll also get 200 free skip traces, which is when you get the phone numbers, or 50 free postcards if you wanted to send postcards out to some of those houses. So again, dealmachine.com/Zach is a way to get there. And you're also going to be signing up for Deal Machine Pro for 12 months. This is what we're giving away, rather. You'll be starting a 7-day free trial of it by going to this URL. But it's going to give you 3 users on your account, driving for dollars and virtual driving for dollars. You can pull niche lists. You can get the map features, such as like highlighting certain properties that have high equity. You can get the reverse D for D feature where it guides you to all those properties with GPS directions. You get the MLS comps and data on the map. You get this AI assistant, which can actually help you answer questions about what's the value of the property or what the repair cost would be. You'll get the mail center features, including Street Pick, which is the Google image that gets put on the postcards if you don't have a photo of the house. CRM features like tasks and writing notes, cheaper skip tracing and postcard prices, and the Deal Machine Masterclass, which we hold weekly on Wednesdays. So again, that's what you're eligible to win by completing the homework. And going to this URL is how you sign up for a 7-day free trial of that if you haven't already. Plus, you get 200 free skip traces or 50 free postcards. So again, if you don't win, by signing up for this, you still do get the opportunity to get 33% off of this for 12 months. Okay. So that's $990 for, well, actually it's a $1,500 value for $990 And so the way to do that, there's two options here, QR codes that you can scan, is if you want the 7-day free trial and you want to hit the QR code on the left. And if you know that you'll want to get that 33% off for 12 months and just lock that in without you forgetting, is the QR code on the right. So I'll give you guys just a second there to decide which one you guys would want to do.
All right.
One more thing I wanted to let you guys know, if you have any questions about the app, it's pretty straightforward and easy to use. But we're here for you as well with live office hours. And so this is the schedule, and you just go to dealmachine.com/office hours if you guys have any questions about the app. And I wish you happy deal finding. Can't wait to see who wins that grand prize. Although Kenny's pretty happy today with his prize next week. So Zach, it's been a pleasure, man. I can't wait to go reverse D for D some of my leads.
Dude, I'm telling you,
refresh on that.
It's a game changer. And I don't say that many times for things, but like it's because, man, you make plenty of money, David, right? Like you don't want to go call it for like 2 or 3 hours of that list, right? You rather just slap it on there and get it going, right? And there's a lot of like, you know, I don't know like exactly you are, but like there's a lot of introvert type people that don't like the door knock or call all day. You just put your headphones in and just put the sticky note out. You don't have to like, it's not that hard. And from the comfort of your home, get the calls inbound to you. Way easier.
Right. I like that a lot because I am an introvert and I also don't like cold calling. So I love it when the calls come into me, meaning like they want to talk to me. It feels so good to have those convos compared to cold calling.
That's it. And when they call you guys, it's just like, hey, I actually put a sticky note out of your door. Me and Dave were looking to buy a couple of houses. We drove by. It seemed like one we actually might want to buy. Are you looking to sell? Yes or no? That's it.
If they say, yeah, it's like so easy, right? Now you're having a conversation they want to have.
That's perfect.
Man, one final story. I couldn't believe this. I could see in the Deal Machine app, this deal I'm closing on this Monday, was that this guy bought it 2 years ago for $200,000. I found him and sent him a postcard because he hadn't paid his taxes and he owed 180. So he said he'd like to actually receive 180 so he could just pay off his loan. And then he would take care of the $10,000 back taxes. And I was like, man, I just can't buy this. I truly couldn't buy it unless I had got it for 160. So I told him that. He said, fine, send me the agreement. I will bring $20,000 to the closing table and I'll pay my back taxes if you can just get this off of me, because I bought it. I'm a orthodontist in Utah. I've bought 4 properties in Indianapolis like 2 years ago, and I bought them too high. This guy really kind of led me astray, and he said he'd rehab them for me. He never did it because we bought them so high. They've just been sitting there, and it's been a huge headache trying to get him to do his job or find another contractor. And meanwhile, I have to pay all these taxes. He's like, I'm making money doing an orthodontist job. I'd rather just do that and get rid of these headaches. So I couldn't believe it. Like I said, it's just so easy when the person's truly motivated and they want to do that deal. So just want to share that to be motivating for you guys as you guys are starting conversations out there. I can't wait to see the results next week. Thanks, Zach, for having me.